Hey guys, welcome back to Kicking It with Ken. Just checking in with you guys for the day. Hopefully you're doing well. Been busy with work, obviously, and trying to wrap up one of our businesses and sell some inventory. Hopefully we can get that taken care of. Helping with the kids. We moved Andrew last weekend into his new place, and that went well. Actually easier than I thought. Still a good day, and yeah, he's good to go. So hopefully we'll see him here for Mother's Day coming up. Blake, doing good. Actually, a funny thing is he came over the other day, and Candi helped him get his first credit card. Interesting how all the kids have pretty decent credit. I think Blake has a car payment, so I assume he hasn't missed any of those. I think he has a good credit, and Andrew the same, but all of them have gotten denied for their first credit card, and then they applied for another one and got it. Carly didn't, though. It was interesting. Blake actually got the highest credit limit, so good for him. What I found interesting is kids don't really know how this credit thing works in the world. So we have to educate them. You think they teach that, at least in high school, how credit works and how to keep it under control and all that good stuff. So Blake should be getting something there. Hung out with him last week at the draft. We had his buddy had a draft party, and a little gambling involved. You got to pick which player you thought was being drafted in that round, and it was like $1 a round or something like that, and it would carry over. And I ended up hitting the second one, so I covered my costs. Blake owed me some money, so I beat him there. Chase, busy, working at the job, trucking along, seems to be doing well. He was doing a valet thing, which just didn't work out with him, kind of conflict in schedule. So he's just doing the one position right now. Seems to like it, happy doing so, which is good. He's in good spirits and doesn't complain when I ask him to do things here around the house, which is nice. Carly, I don't really see Carly that much, even though she's here all the time. She's busy with school and doing that kind of stuff. So Candi put out a little Q&A. What kind of topics do you want Ken to discuss this week? So I got a little list here. I'm going to kind of go through some good information, good questions. I appreciate everyone for putting the questions in and asking. First question, God, my vision. Whew. It's getting worse here. Miss Melly asks, what does Ken think about Carly moving with her boyfriend? I'm indifferent. I mean, I can't be judgmental. I know when I was 18, 19 years old, I stayed with my significant other routinely, so I can't be judgmental. They're both good kids, so I know they make good decisions, and Carly's has a very good head on her shoulders. I know she'll always make the right decision. In regards to them moving out together, I think Candi and I, we're discussing moving here in the future. I don't know if it's tomorrow or next month or next year, and I know Carly doesn't want to move with us into the new house, so we'll kind of see how that goes and what decisions they make. I mean, they're both young. I know you change a lot between the ages of 18 and 22, so we'll let them live and learn is how I feel. So thanks for that question. Anna Lynn, question is, what's Ken looking forward to this summer, if anything, any summer plans? Just kind of the normal, using the stuff that we have here at the house, the pool. I'm literally chomping at the bit here for good weather. We had a week that was a little spoiling, where it was 80s, and all it's done recently is rain, 50s and rain. So I'm dying to get outside and be outside, and honestly it helps the overall health and well-being of everybody. I think everybody's in a better mood. Everybody, I mean, not even including myself, when it's nice outside. I talked to my builder the other day, and I'm like, how's it going? He's like, I just can't wait till it gets nice out. People are nicer, which is true. I mean, I still go through seasonal depression with the weather, so I'm just like, can't wait to get moving, and it's so hard to stay motivated when it's doom and gloom all the time. So nice weather certainly helps me get outside, move around, and do some more things that are active. And typically I weigh significantly, not significant, but pretty much less in the summertime than I do in the winter, because you're just sitting around kind of waiting. So buddy of mine, a good friend of mine, owns a dealership in town. He and his family have purchased a cottage in one of the lakes here in Michigan, so I'm sure we'll spend a couple trips going up there. They got a boat, and he just bought some jet skis and all that good stuff. So I'm kind of looking forward to hanging out with friends and just having a good summer. We're starting to get to that point too. Just little things like the burn pit needs fixed, and just odds and ends. One of my pipes out in the front yard, actually all the drains from the gutters go into, and the sub pump I think there's a crack in it. Fortunately, it seems like it's pretty low to the pond, so I won't have to do much digging. That's kind of on my list for the weekend if the weather cooperates. So summer, I love it. So much more to do outside and to be active in. Biggest change I've made since learning about diabetes, obviously I've no pop. Not that I was a big pop drinker at all, but I definitely don't touch too much stuff with sugar. I'm always looking at sugar contents of what I'm putting in my body, and you know, overall just, you know, trying to eat healthy. I find what's happening is during the week I'm pretty good at dropping weight, and the weekends I put a few pounds back on, so I'm flip-flopping back and forth. Not that I'm going hog wild, but you know, it might be, all right, we're having Chinese for today. I might have, you know, something in it, I don't know. But, you know, I stick pretty lean during the week of nothing but, you know, proteins, lean meats, vegetables, and then on the weekend I might, you know, treat myself here and there. So it's back and forth. I think I'm 22.7 pounds. In regards to the metformin, I'm not sure that it's doing anything for me. What I find is, before I got on any of this stuff or even found out I was diabetic, I would have periods during the day, like around 3 o'clock, where I felt like I was crashing. I don't have that, but I really am getting tired. So I'm taking B12 because I think metformin depletes that energy level. But I've had, you know, some spells where I just don't feel really good, and I find that less normal. I don't know if that makes any sense. I feel less normal at times, and I guess it takes some time to get used to the metformin, etc. Still waiting to hear on the Ozempic from the insurance company, but I'm probably more aware of how I feel right now under the condition than drastic life changes. I mean, I'm still, you know, trying to exercise and dieting, all that good stuff. So you're just more conscious of it. But we'll just, like I said, we'll kind of see and go from there. But you know, still working on it and hope to get to the promised land with that issue. But thanks for the question. That would be Anna, yeah, Anna Lynn. Taylor, what did he think of the draft? Best drafted players, worst ones? I mean, in general, you know, I think the draft was good. It was fun and exciting. Probably the most exciting draft I've watched for, you know, for the first round anyways. I didn't watch any of the other rounds, and the only reason is because we had that little gambling thing going on. I think the Eagles did really well. I think the Lions picked some players. I sat with a bunch of Lions fans who weren't happy, but I think once they see how it all pans out, they're going to be a little better in the long run. As for the Dolphins, I really scrutinized their picks, you know, because I really thought they needed a tight end and offensive lineman, which I still think they do. They did pick up a guy by the name of A-Chain, running back, and it's kind of weird because we have a lot of running backs, and they're still going after Dalvin Cook. But after watching highlights of this A-Chain guy, he could be a superstar. I mean, that's the crapshoot with the draft is, you know, they go through all these rounds, and how many of these players will actually become starters in the NFL? I know there's some really good defensive players picked up. Dolphins picked up a Cam Smith, who I think at first I was like, what? You know, we got Jalen Ramsey, we got Xavier Howard, but those guys are getting up there in age, and I think Cam will be a good addition to the team, and plus it's, you know, long term. So I don't think the Dolphins really need to rebuild. I think reloading and creating some backup stuff is awesome for the future. I think we need to win now based on, you know, salary caps and all that good stuff. So we'll kind of see. Maybe there's still some moves to be made for, you know, protecting Tua and the offense. I know we've gotten you know, some good wide receivers, some backups. I mean, Barrios, and, you know, we drafted another kid, Higgins is his name. So we'll see. I mean, like I said, it's all a crapshoot at the draft. So thanks, Taylor, for that question. What sports did I play in high school? So here's the interesting story. I grew up, I played football my entire life. I played baseball. In baseball, I was really fast, and I had a really good arm. So I played a lot of outfield, and I pitched. I could throw really hard. My accuracy was average at best. I was never consistent, I guess, when it came to pitching, but throwing people out from center field was kind of my thing. So I played baseball up until I think I was in 7th grade, and then I continued playing football. I was, you know, quarterback, running back. I played safety. I had 6 interceptions in one game. I got into my high school year. I was being groomed to be QB1 for the high school I went to. A lot of the coaches were excited to have me come up, but having a girlfriend got in the way. So I ended up playing, played my freshman year, got injured, cut my Achilles tendon, and tried to come back my sophomore year, and my heart just wasn't in it, and coming back from injuries, always tough. Although I should have been able to get through it, but more so it was like, hey, I wanted to hang out with my friends and girlfriend. So I never completed my high school career playing football, which is honestly probably my only regret in life, is not finishing that task of completing high school football, which was a passion. But what do you do now at 49 years old? You can't go back and play. So I did try out for the basketball team 3 years in a row. Always got cut. I was too aggressive. I was a very aggressive basketball player. I wasn't very good at it, to be quite honest. So those are the sports I played in high school. Other than that, it was a lot of party and fun time with friends and girlfriends. So that was my high school career. I was. It's funny because I started out freshman year with a terrible grade point average. I was screwing around. Finally got my crap together. Started taking honors classes, and I became really good at manipulating teachers. So I got best skipper my senior year. I think it was my junior or senior year. I missed like 43 days, and this is before you were held accountable for missing class. 43 days of my first hour class in Spanish, and had the highest grade in the class. And it's funny because I don't consider myself as being one of the smartest kids. Although I was in honors, I had a lot of smart people around me. I put myself down at the bottom of that list, and I just, you learn from smarter people. You put yourself around smart people, you learn from smart people. But it's funny because all that stuff, I didn't really pay attention, but I guess I did because I have a lot of useless knowledge here as an adult that obviously it's stuck in my brain. So the kids always, how do you know all the state capitals? I know that's elementary, but how do you know all this stuff? And it's just weird how I've retained useless high school educational stuff like history. I hated history, but God, I'm so educated on history now as an adult. Not that I even read much. It came back into my brain. So very interesting. College, same situation. I went in classrooms and I was lost. You're not held accountable. I think kids, if you're not super smart, should maybe wait a year. Like I said, if I could go back to school now, I'd be a genius. Anyways, thoughts on Chase getting back to dating. Obviously, I'd like for him to meet a nice girl and do that. He's been hanging out here and there, and he's at that age. He'll find his way. My kids will all figure it out eventually. I did. That's just how life goes. Thoughts on Jalen Hurts and Lamar Jackson contracts? Chelsea 87. That's an interesting question. I think these players are getting paid so much money. It's unbelievable how much they get these contracts for. Jalen Hurts had an agent, Lamar Jackson didn't. I can't believe he pulled it off and got the salary of, what is it, $260 million. The thing is you could be injured and be done in one season. And the thing is all it does is keep driving up the prices of everything. Memorabilia, all the sports stuff, tickets. Back in the day, you could go to a football game for a fraction of the cost. Now it costs you $4. If you want to take your family of 5 to a football game, you better stock. It's a vacation basically. So it's kind of crazy the cost of the NFL these days. So good for them. I'm happy about anyone that is able to make money and progress their future and all that good stuff. So those are my thoughts on those guys. They'll both be around a little while. Words of advice for saving and investing. So real quick, I talked about credit cards early on. Credit cards are good for building credit, but you really need to be disciplined. And we tried to explain this to Blake the other day, that basically the credit card company gave you $4,000 in your hand to do what you want with. You have to pay that back. It makes it easy to go purchase something at a high level or expensive and say, oh, I'll just pay it off next month. Minimum payment says $25, you pay that. Well, what happens is that snowballs because it makes it so easy to put something on a credit card that you want now. That's not good. Even in Candi and I's early relationship, I think, and I probably shouldn't tell you this, she may even cut it out, but we had $25,000 in credit card debt, and it becomes so overwhelming and consuming that you don't know what to do. And how we got out of that is basically you take the card maybe with the lowest balance, You do the minimum payments on the ones that are existing, and you make double and triple payments till that one's gone. Once it's gone, real simple. One credit card's okay, multiple not. Cut it up, get rid of it, move on to the next one, and so on and so forth, and just don't do it again. I mean, I have a credit card now, and we pay it off every month. It doesn't matter, it gets paid off. So that's key. 2, invest in, you know, I used to say the housing market is the place to put your money, but we're in such a crazy time right now with the value of houses. You may go overpay for something and not get your investment back, especially if the predictors say, you know, next year the housing market's gonna, I don't want to say crash or not do well, then you're losing. So having assets is always good, but in the same token, I mean, I have a lot of money in this house. It doesn't really do me a whole lot of good to tie up money, with the exception that we're going to be making changes here soon, so I don't want to put it in something else. That money is better working for you in investments and such as that. But, you know, the market's not doing well. Everything's kind of sketchy right now to give good advice on where to put your money. I know about you know, 3, 4, 5 years ago, I could really give you some good advice on what to do. But right now, I'm not even so sure myself. I'm by far no expert. I did do life and health insurance when I was in my 20s. I had a securities license. I was much more educated than I am now. But the thing is debt. Key is to work on your debt and don't accumulate it. I think it's a Jim Carrey or someone said, if you can't live poor for 1 year, don't expect to be rich later on. And that's kind of the thing is, try not to live above your means. I'm guilty as charged. I mean, I've always kind of done that. I wanted something, I bought it, and I've gotten myself into, you know, debt, and you know, had to fight out of it. And fortunately for me, we were able to make money and hustle and all that good stuff. But to keep that stuff under control is the biggest thing. You know, budgets. Keep yourself in budgets, and just, I mean, like I said before, I mean, the crap we have, and the thing is, you can't sell it for what it's worth. And didn't, you know, Candi and I bought these cheese wedge pillows we thought were going to be great for bed. We spent, I don't remember, it might have been 50, 60 bucks on these things at Costco. Did we need them? No. One of us should have been checks and balances. We bought them. We haven't used them. Now they're sitting, you know, in the closet, and it's just a waste of money. So again, I'm just as guilty as you guys all are, but senseless spending is definitely never good. I do have some advice though when it comes to future planning on assets. So we all put cars in our name, we put houses in our name. One of the best things I feel like that best decision we've ever made is putting our stuff into a trust. Now, it wasn't cheap. I think it cost us about 3,000 bucks. But what it does is it puts all the assets in the trust name. Still belongs to you. You still have access. You can still move things around. What it says is the cars, the businesses, the house, all that is controlled by the trust, governed by the attorney who put it together, meaning he can't make decisions, but he can follow what rules we put in that trust. The nice thing is each kid was set up with their own trust within that trust. So something to say Candi and I go on a trip, something happens to both of us, the trust dictates where all those assets go, and therefore you don't have to deal with the legal aspect of probate, the government, everything's kind of tax-free. That's the biggest thing. The kids wouldn't have to pay taxes. I just took our aerator took a crap out front, which creates bubbles in the pond for the fish, and I took it over to a little motor place that I've gone to, and the old man passed away, so his kid's running in. I'm like, well, how are things going? He's like, well, everything's tied up in probate right now, meaning he's got to go through all these processes to get the business that his dad once owned. Something happens to us, our businesses become our kids' assets. They don't have to deal with any legalities. It's all laid out, and it's really convenient. Savings accounts, the whole night, it does your will in there. It's everything. So everything's taken care of. Our kids don't need to worry about, what do I do? Where do I start? I mean, just dealing with the credit card thing the other day, they'd be lost anyways, because this isn't taught in schools, and it should be. So I find that is by far the best decision we ever made, was setting up this trust. Like I said, life insurance policies, everything's tax-free. The government can't touch anything. I mean, should the kids sell the house, they don't have to pay taxes on it. It's just, it's really a good peace of mind. It's a good piece of, because actually before that, I've never been big into hiring attorneys. I wrote all of our documents for wills, power of attorney, living wills. I put all that stuff together. I like doing it. It may not be perfect. It does pass because I've used them for my parents, and you know, when my mom passed away, I'd written all their documentation. but at the same token, it was nice to have an attorney put this together for us. So that's what I can give you from that perspective. Just live within your means, and if you want vacations or you want something specifically, save for it and have patience. I mean, that's about all you can do is have patience. And I know, guilty as charged. I've always been the kind of person to live by the seat of my pants. If I want something, I get it. But I've also learned over time. So 49 years, I've gotten to this point where I'm probably a little more conservative on what I buy, how I spend it. Is it worth it? Still make mistakes, still want stuff now, still want to go to Vegas next, actually it's this month. One of my clients is going to Vegas and said, hey, you guys should come. The diet, I mean, I've talked a little bit about that too. I'm just trying to stay lean. I mean, I heard that it's 2 to 3 months with metformin before you kind of feel like you're making progress. I thought that I'd start taking this medication and would drop weight quickly. Maybe it's not the Ozempic thing, but I'm starting to really rethink medications in general. It's like I have a friend that I grew up with, was always heavy set. He lost a bunch of weight. Now I find out he's got stage 4 lung cancer. It's like, what are the right to do? Staying heavy, maybe that's keeping me healthy. I don't know, but I know people that have lost weight, and next thing you know, they have more medical issues, or they don't look so good. I mean, there's all kind. I mean, I think our food is poisoned. I say that with a grain of salt. It's not poison. You look back at the 70s and 80s, and there's more health conditions now than there were back then. And maybe I just notice them more. So you're always dancing that fine line. So I'm taking vitamins more frequently now. I got to get my vitamin D up, so I take that every day. I take a multivitamin. I take fish oil. Chase got these beet vitamins. He's like, Dad, you should take these. So I'm taking those. I take zinc. I take all kinds of stuff. So I'm really popping the vitamins in. Hopefully they're not hurting me. But you know, our foods, it's so much. The thing I've realized the most is that when I look at the ingredients, God, there's so much sugar in everything that we consume. Breads, and I'm not saying get off bread or anything, but it's just amazing. Sugar, in my opinion, sugar is the killer. Think about it. If you put sugar in any kind of liquid, it can gum up an engine. It can do all kinds of stuff. And I know salt's bad too, but our body needs some salt. But it's just crazy. I mean, I keep reading on things to eat, things not to eat, and things that seem to work with my body, because not all foods agree with everybody. We're trucking along, and hopefully we find the promised land and where we're supposed to go. Candi and I were talking about weight loss the other day, and you know, ideally she's like, oh, where would you want to be weight wise? And I said this, and she's like, to be realistic, I mean, we're at 50. Do you ever think we're going to get to that point? Maybe not. Maybe we're meant to be bigger people. And I said this weight, and she's like, you haven't been that in a long time. I'm like, well, that'd be 20 pounds more than when we got married. And she's like, she's like, if I got to this certain weight, I would be happy. And it's not the ideal weight, it's a better weight. But yeah, I mean, even when we were on Singular working out with Jake, you know, we got to this point and got stalemate. I'd like to beat that weight by probably 40 pounds would make me thrilled to death. So, I mean, I think it's a never-ending journey, and I may fight this for the rest of my life, but, you know, getting better is always a good challenge. So, that's it for me today, guys. Hopefully you learned something. I'm glad you stopped by. I love the questions. I appreciate you all for, writing in the questions, and, leave your comments below. I always enjoy reading them and responding to them if I'm able. But hopefully nice weather is where you are, and looking for those blue skies, and summertime coming. So peace out, take care, and we'll see you soon.